Alrighty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't seem ready.
Well, I was thinking about who we're going to be, and decided if I wanted to talk about Rogue and Gambit or not, and I don't because I've already ruined Kitty and Peter for you. So there you go. And Batman and Catwoman.
Do you want to be Vlad and Donald? We
No,
can
no,
we can
no,
do
no.
that.
I mean, they're fine. I was trying to. I was thinking about where they are in current continuity, and I was trying to think about what I would and wouldn't say. No, I mean I'm good. I was just, we talk about spoilers, but I don't want to spoil too much.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey there, Marvel fans. It's all X-Men all week.
Xavier really a good guy? Let's do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Is Xavier, not Xavier.
No,
As in the
it's is
university.
Xavier.
I understand. I know what I said.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey there, Marvel fans. It's crap. Now I'm doing it.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey there, Marvel fans. It's all X-Men all week.
Is Xavier really a good guy?
Rogue and Gambit reunited.
All this and more on this week's episode of the 6 Months Behind podcast.
I'm still not sure what you said because you said it so fast.
All right, go back. We'll do it again.
No, we're gonna move on.
Dude, we can do it again, man.
No, we're gonna move on. It is what it is. All right. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 Month Behind podcast for the week of 7/9/18. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And this week we're Rogue and Gambit because they're getting back together. Because, they just are. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I discussed things with you earlier in the week. Maybe it was it was this week, about couples and Marvel Universe and DC Universe, and didn't mean to spoil things for you.
Yeah, you spoiled the Batman wedding for me. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, it came out 2 weeks ago and my time limit's up. You're right. So it's whatever, man.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I said it. I thought if you were reading the book, you'd have already read it. And, apparently you hadn't. So,
no, I'm behind on my my DC comics. I've been reading Marvel stuff and other real books with, paper and actual bindings and covers and stuff about serious things.
I was actually, and I do this with Tom Clancy novels. If Tom Clancy novels are tombs, okay? They're just enormous, right? And like the first 200 or 300 pages are setting up characters. So you got to trudge through the first 200 or 300 pages. But then like the last 800 pages are really, really good. So by the time you reach like page 1100 or 1200, you don't want to put the book down.
Sure.
And that's where I was about 12:30 last night. I finally finished it at 12:30 last night. I wasn't reading a real book. I was reading I got it on the Apple Store. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anyway. I mean, I read a lot of books digitally too, but they're not comic books. Is my point. I've been reading The World as It Is, which is Ben Rhodes' perspective on his 8 years in the White House as Barack Obama's deputy national security advisor.
But that's entertaining.
If you ever want to understand the foreign policy of the Obama administration, it's an excellent read.
Oh, you and I've discussed that before, so maybe I will.
That's why I'm reading the book, and I told you to read it a couple weeks ago, but
did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you understand their foreign policy?
I understand why they made the decisions that they did. I don't know that I necessarily agree with all of them, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah, that's one of the problems in not just America but the world today is whether you're talking politics or sports or anything is people don't even try to understand the other person's position. You don't even try and put yourself in their shoes. You don't even try and determine what they might be thinking, whether you agree with it or not. Okay, they have a reason for doing what they're doing, and when you figure out what that reason is, maybe you can be a little more sympathetic to their cause. Maybe you might even agree with them.
Yeah.
But everybody's so close-minded these days. It's this way or you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So,
although sometimes it is true that they do things that way because they're stupid and don't know what they're doing or understand things.
See, I wasn't throwing you under the bus there. You just backed it up over yourself.
No, I'm not talking about me. I'm just saying, I agree with what you said, but sometimes people do things that are motivated by things that are not real and don't exist, except in their minds.
Yeah. For those who can't see, he pointed to his temple.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we won't get into the politics this week because it was one of those weeks in politics, so that's kind of where we got off to. But yeah, man. Anyway, I've been reading that, and what else have I been reading? I read Dan Pfeiffer's new book is it's waiting to be read. I've been reading some Lovecraft stuff like I always do. I'm always visiting the Lovecraft stuff. Yeah, I do actually read other things other than comic books. In fact,
I do too.
I read so many comic books, I feel obligated to read other things because I read so many comic books.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, can I not just fill my head with superheroes all the time? I need to read real things.
Yeah. I do that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to tell us what you've been reading, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
Or you can go to the website, www.6monthsbehind.com.
Have you put anything up on the website recently?
I put the Steve Ditko stuff up. I put last week's episode up. That's about it. But the Ditko documentary is there.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
I tell you what's good is they put that Vietnam War documentary on Netflix by Ken Burns that he just released. Yeah, it's I watched the first part last night. It's really good. If you don't know who Ken Burns is, you can Google him, but he's an exceptional documentarian. I mean, he's been working on this Vietnam War documentary for a decade. That's the kind of research that they do, and they make. I think that Vietnam one's like 10 parts, so or maybe more. I don't know, but if you like documentaries, the Ken Burns documentaries are worth checking out.
I've been watching NYPD Blue.
Is that the Tom Selleck show?
No, no, that's Blue Bloods.
Okay, Blue something.
Yeah, that's Blue Bloods. NYPD Blue is the ABC show from the early to mid 90s that ran for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
So somehow I watched I know what happened. An ad popped up that season 12 was on Amazon, and I thought, oh, I didn't know any of the seasons were there. And I started watching the first episode, which is when Simple gets shot, and then I was sucked in.
Speaking of Amazon, did you buy anything on Prime this week because it was Prime Day?
No.
Me either. I stayed far away from it because I did not need to be tempted.
I heard today, I was listening to Leo Laporte on This Week in Tech. He does a lot of shows, so you got to specify which one it is.
Yeah. And
they were discussing the fact that they do this every year so that people will be enticed to join Prime.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is of their target demographic, every year they've had like a 10 to 15% bump from Prime membership on Prime Day for the last 3 or 4 years. They don't think they're going to get it this year because, dude, everybody's a Prime member.
But I'm not happy with Prime right now and haven't been for a little while.
I never had any problems with it.
2-day shipping is not 2-day shipping anymore.
It is for me. It may not be where you live.
And maybe it depends on the distribution center, but it used to be 2-day shipping from when you order it, which is what it should be. Now it's 2-day shipping from the time it ships. So it could take 4 or 5 days to fill your order, and it'll arrive in 2 days, but it doesn't get filled and arrive at your house within 2 days.
There's when I'm buying an item, there's a little box on it that says, order it before in the next hour and 13 minutes to get it on this day.
Oh yeah. Period. Everything that I've ordered in the last 6 months has not adhered to that at all. The little box is there that says get it by such and such time if you order it within this amount of time, but that almost never happens.
Well, you do live in Alabama.
You live in Tennessee, so.
Yeah, but we have Apple card readers here and you don't there. So
that's true too. Yeah. Nobody here accepts Apple Pay, and everywhere in Memphis that I went to accepts Apple Pay.
Yes.
I think I even told you the other day, the local grocery store upgraded their credit card machines at the registers the other day, and they don't work with Apple Pay. And I complained to the manager because I'm that kind of guy.
Yes, you are. For the love of God, you are. Yes.
Yeah. And the price hike is, I do it yearly. So my year is up in November for Prime, and I don't know if I'm going to re-up.
Dude, I forget the videos and all the other things that you get for being a Prime member. I get it in shipping alone. And I don't know if I've told this story on there. The last lawnmower I bought on Prime, and it showed up 2 days later in a box assembled. All I had to do was flip the handle up, put gas in it, put the motor oil in it, boom, ready to go. I mean, there was a specific model mower I wanted. Couldn't find it at a store in Memphis. Found it on Amazon. Here it is.
I don't know. I'll have to reevaluate because $120 a year is a lot. But whatever.
Renee and I discussed the other night. Yeah, we get it back in shipping. If you don't use any of the other features.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great, but that's what I need to do is I need to sit down and decide, okay, here's all the things I bought this year. Did it add up to this, $120 in shipping? And if it did, great. If not, I might cancel. I don't know. Because all the other stuff I can get piecemeal.
Well, yeah. But when you get it piecemeal, you wind up. Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. But, I get I use their news service, and I read a lot of magazines and things on their news service. I use their music service occasionally.
Really?
They've got a free book service. Every month they give out a certain number. What it basically is at any given time you can have 12 magazines or books checked out from the Prime store.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I just rotate them in and out as I'm reading them.
Yeah. Good luck getting any of those on your Apple device.
Yeah, they're on the Apple device.
I can't get them.
Yeah. Now you can't buy things on your Apple device, but in the Kindle store you can get things. Yes.
I haven't had any luck with that, but I'll try it again.
Well, maybe not. No, I think I do get them on my Apple device.
Because that's the whole thing is they don't want, they're competitors. So Apple doesn't want you going to them for books. They want you to buy it through the iBook store. So you can't purchase and read stuff via Amazon.
Yeah.
Because I remember I bought a bunch of those comics when they were doing that sale, and there's a handful of them that I can't get to. I don't know. Anyway, we aren't here to talk about Amazon. We're here to talk about comic books, which is what we're going to do.
Yes, we are.
Just to let you know, we do discuss spoilers on this show. So if you have not read all the books, which I don't know why you wouldn't have, pause, come back later. We'll be here when you get back, and you won't be spoiled. Starting off with our X-Men books, because that's legitimately, like, there's how many? 6 X-Men titles?
Yes, I just downloaded this week's Time magazine, so yes, you can.
Okay. There's 6 X-Men titles, which is like half the comics that came out this week. So we went with an X-Men theme this week. X-Men Gold number 19. It's the big throwdown with Space Hitler on Darteus, this planet that they've been on. He summoned his ancient god that is going to wreck the planet. Wolverine does what he does best and takes out Space Hitler, but you got the big giant dude wrecking the place, so they've got to deal with that. They decide to come up with this plan where they steal a spaceship and use a huge cable from the spaceship to pick up the giant and tow him literally off the planet. So like Kitty jumps out of the spaceship and phases through him and then phases back. So he's got this huge cord through his chest, and they literally just tow him out to space. Yeah.
It worked.
It worked, and then they crash landed on the planet. Yeah. It was, look, man, it's better than X-Men Blue's ever been. So
yeah. Dude, X-Men Gold is definitely the top of the line of the X-Men books. It
is the most X-Men,
throwing out, Phoenix Resurrection and Marvel Girl, because they're always up there. But yeah, it's X-Men Gold.
There's not a Marvel Girl comic.
What's her name? Is it Jean Grey, Marvel Girl, whatever she is?
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were referencing a specific comic book.
Well, yeah, it's issue 10 where she got blown up by the Phoenix a few weeks ago.
Oh, well, that's over.
No,
that series is over.
No, issue 11 is coming out in a few weeks.
Is it? I thought it was over.
If you had read the last page, it says continued after Phoenix Resurrection.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm just dumb.
Now, which Jean Grey appears in the book, I'll leave that for your suspense, but
Oh, well, since you've teased it, now we know.
No, I did a good job of teasing it.
Okay.
There's like 6 of them running around.
That's true.
Next, matter of fact, it's the wedding of Kitty and Peter. It's like Rachel Summers. Well, I won't tell you who it is, but there's several Jean Greys standing there talking,
and
it's like Rachel Summers, who's the old Jean Grey's daughter, and Hope. A couple of other people. Hope was there. It's just like this odd. all these time warped people are standing there talking.
Right. It's like, oh, hey, it's us.
Yeah.
We should form a band or something.
Yeah. I try to think somebody makes a joke like that.
Okay.
So Astonishing X-Men number 7. In the first story arc, we have Professor Xavier fighting with Farouk, the Shadow King. This is the second story arc. And I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't been reading this book. So I really don't know where this is going. But Professor X has seemingly taken over the body of Phantom X.
Yeah.
So he's in Phantom X's body. He looks like himself. However, that managed to happen with hair in his 20s. And of course, the X-Men, who in this case are Rogue, Psylocke, and Mystique, are all skeptical. The problem is they're still in London, and London's a frigging disaster because, they're fixing to drop nuclear weapons because all the people have gone crazy. And so Archangel is up there fighting the London pilots, or British pilots, I should say, and Professor Xavier is telling him what to do. After he gets through, he heals Archangel of the mental problems that he's had, because every time he would go from being Warren to being Archangel, he would basically go insane and become, overcome with this bloodlust and didn't want to become Archangel again. So, X, as he's calling himself now, heals him of it. And then Betsy decides that, she doesn't really believe that Phantom X is okay, so she wants to go see him. So she spends a few pages up on the psychic plane, astral plane, excuse me, with Phantom X, and he assures her he did this willingly and everything's all fine. Then the guys realize that Archangel's been healed. Then I think it was last issue where Professor Xavier used, or X as he's called, uses power to heal everyone of the mental madness that was going around. The problem is all that madness composed itself and became Protus. Now, I should know who Protus is because I bought the comics off the stands when they first appeared in the late 70s and early 80s, but I don't remember. So he's some kind of psychic energy being.
Yeah, you don't remember because he hasn't been around since the 70s.
He may have made one appearance later, but not many, man.
Isn't he Professor Xavier's son?
See, that's Legion, and I got too confused.
That's right. David Haller is yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I should have gone to Wikipedia and got it clarified, but I didn't. So there you go.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing that occurred to me reading this is, and they demonstrate it in the book when Betsy goes to talk to him in the astral plane, goes to talk to Phantom X in the astral plane. And she's like, did you choose this? And he says, yeah. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, well, I feel like I did. Maybe I was influenced to feel that way. And knowing Professor Xavier, he operates in kind of a gray area sometimes. Man, I don't think Phantom X chose to do this.
Yeah, I'm completely with you.
And it started this snowball of, do we really want Professor Xavier back? Because for all the high-minded ideals that he espouses, we have seen that in practice, he, much like Magneto, is kind of willing to do whatever he needs to further his agenda. Now, that doesn't necessarily include murder, but he did just take over the body of another human being. So, yeah, he does it in cleaner ways, but he's still overcoming the will of other people.
Yeah, and there's a good explanation for it in issue 5, I believe, but he still did it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure Xavier being back is the best thing for the X-Men. Iceman number 9. So Bobby's gonna leave and go live in California, and he brings his boyfriend over to have a little party. They have a little going away party at the mansion. That gets interrupted when a bunch of purifiers show up outside, and they have to go deal with that. And it seems like it's just way too easy to beat these purifiers. They're kind of giving up easy and not really exhibiting their normal behavior. And that's because they're not purifiers. They're just a distraction for Daken, who sneaks into the mansion to confront Bobby over something. I really don't remember what Daken's beef is here. I know he showed up earlier in the series, but I don't know. Like, they're fighting over this other X-Men kid who wants to be a whole lot like Daken, but I don't know. Anyway, Daken brutally murders Bobby's boyfriend to piss him off, and they're gonna duke it out in the mansion. Meanwhile, a bunch of teenage X-Men have gotten lost in the Savage Land.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a weird finish for a book that's been really good.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the last issue.
I don't really...
Because it got canceled because Marvel can't, if the book's doing well, they have to cancel it.
Sure. Next up is Phoenix Resurrection number 2. Did you
I did.
Not just this one, but the whole series. Did you read all 5 issues?
Not yet.
Okay. See, I know where this is going. I've read them. I may go dig them out of the loan box tonight and read them again because I'm really confused here. So this opens with the Phoenix going to her space station and blowing up a space station. Then Jean Grey wakes up in her bed the Jean Grey that we have in this issue. How about that? Then she gets to go to work.
The original Jean Grey.
Okay, there we go. Sure. Then we have a page of Jamie Madrox having multiple men everywhere, and Jean's wondering how he gets everything done.
I thought that was funny.
I did too. That last panel where there's like 12 of them in the background is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Then the X-Men are trying to figure out what's going on, and Wolverine is, like, well, we know what's going on. It's Phoenix is coming. Then we reference Jean Grey number 10, which we discussed a few minutes ago, because they determined that they've lost all their psychics and don't have anybody to operate Cerebro, which is when Cable steps up and says, yeah, I'll do it. You got one left, I'll do it. But it doesn't end well for him because he gets a lot of psychic backlash. And then we cut to, and this is what I was curious about. We cut to Eric. How do you pronounce his last name? Eric Lyncher?
Lyncher, not Lyncher. Wisner? Sure.
Nope. So Eric's sitting there in the restaurant where Jean Grey is.
Just go with Magneto.
No, we're going with Eric. Because so Jean Grey comes over, serves him, and he asks him what to eat. And she's like, okay, whatever you want to give me. So then we cut away and we come back and Eric's not there. So she goes to take him his food. He ain't there. And then the X-Men go looking for where they think the Phoenix anomaly is again. And one of the teams is attacked by Magneto. And he's a very confused Magneto, but he's a Magneto.
He's an illusion.
No.
He's a Phoenix anomaly.
Okay. Then we go back to the diner, and Eric has reappeared because he wasn't there earlier, and his nose is bleeding from where he fought the X-Men. And then the Phoenix appears. So is he a Phoenix anomaly, or is he the real Magneto, the real Eric? And if he's a Phoenix anomaly, why is he confused?
I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
Is that it for Phoenix Resurrection?
That's it, man.
Okay.
There's a giant Phoenix in the sky, and we're getting there. Because I know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why all this happened.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about this issue. Was what's the point of all this?
Yeah,
because the first issue was good. The second doesn't do anything to advance the plot. And that's a stickler for me. If you're not advancing the plot, then what are you doing?
They could have made it 4 and done away with almost everything that's in this issue. Yes. I know where this is going. So yeah, they could have.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Something else they could have done away with entirely is Rogue and Gambit number 1. If time is a circle, then everything happens all at once. I don't know what that means, but it's the words that begin this comic. Rogue shows up to the mansion, hops into the danger room with Rogue and a couple other C-list X-Men to fight some old school Sentinels, because this book is all about X-Men nostalgia. Turns out after Rogue kind of blows Remy off, she goes to Kitty's office to get an assignment for a new mission, which is an undercover mission to some like mutant paradise, or what's supposed to be a mutant paradise, but they've had mutants have been disappearing from here, so they think it's some sort of front for people doing experiments on mutants. So they Rogue and Gambit go undercover as a couple to this island, which Rogue is not very happy about because she doesn't want to rekindle this romance, whereas Gambit's all about it. They have an argument and then get captured and experimented on, and then apparently in the next issue the flames are going to go higher. At least that's what the little teaser says. I, for one, hope this book gets canceled immediately.
It's not going to.
Of course not, because
Well,
everything
actually,
everything awful Marvel continues to publish, and everything good they continue to cancel.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
X-Men Grand Design number 2.
Let me just caveat. It's not a bad book. It's not. It's just not for me. And I think the premise of the story is a little silly.
I tell you what is a bad book, and what's all about nostalgia is this X-Men Grand Design.
It's just reprints.
It's just reprints, some of it with bad art. And again, as I said last week or last month or whenever the last one was, the only interesting thing about this is all the footnotes at the back telling you where to find everything. Like footnote number 39 on page 45. I really want to go back and read this because you were asking a couple of weeks ago when the X-Men went in the reprints. It went into the reprints at like 65 or 66 in 1970. Then Giant Size X-Men number 1 relaunched in 1975. So for 5 years, it was in reprints. But the note here says, and this is a whole thing, man. Professor Xavier faked his death so the students would grow up and become independent and be on their own. And then he came back. And when he came back, he had a mental contact with an alien that here they're saying turned out to be Lilandra of the Shire Empire.
It was.
In 1970?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to contemplate that.
Because it happens in the middle of the Phoenix Saga.
No, they're saying it happened in issue 65 in 1970.
I remember it being somewhere around the time of the Phoenix Saga, but
it is. It happened in number 107, but they're claiming that that's a flashback to what happened in X-Men 65.
Is X-Men 65 a reprint of that issue?
No.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They're retconning history, and I want to go read it and see if I can figure out what they're doing.
Okay. Moving on to Spider-Man books, the only Spider-Man comic we had this week was Spider-Man 236. Genki has been, or Ned, has been dating this Danica lady. And if you don't remember who this is, she's the one that has the Spider-Man fan YouTube page that's so popular. She's TMZ, but it's all Spider-Man all the time. And, she confronts him over this whole like, hey, have you told the guy that's Spider-Man that you're dating me yet? Since I know you're best friends with him. And he's like, no. And in the whole process of like explaining himself, he blabs that it's Miles and not Spider-Man. And she's like, oops. I'll pretend I didn't hear you say that. And it's implied that the only reason she's dating him is just to get that information. She wanted to know who Spider-Man was, so she infiltrated his network, pretended to be interested in Gank, and is now got the information she wanted.
Yeah.
She's a honeypot, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into this and I'm just really cynical, but I don't know. I just get that vibe. Meanwhile, Bombshell goes to meet her mother, who's the original Bombshell, and she wants to team up and be a villain duo, and Bombshell's not into it. Bombshell had Spider-Man come along with her to be a little muscle and kind of intimidate her mom a little bit. Except her mom brought her own spider guy along with her. They duke it out on the roof a little bit, and turns out it's Hobby Brown. It's Miles's uncle.
There we go.
Yeah. There's a B story where you have Sandman, Electro, and a handful of other villains. I guess what is the new Sinister Six, trying to infiltrate and steal a SHIELD helicarrier now that SHIELD's not around anymore. And it turns out
did that, but go ahead.
Yeah. It turns out SHIELD is all the old SHIELD assets are being guarded by old Nick Fury LMDs.
So they just the world just decided they shut down SHIELD and left all of their weapons laying around for Deadpool to pick up in the Despicable Deadpool series, and all the helicarriers just sitting somewhere for villains to come get. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great plot device.
Yeah. Well, people have spider powers and can fly. So if we're going to suspend disbelief,
Yes.
Black Bolt number 9 with our Only Inhumans book this week. First of all, the cover on this is magnificent.
It is good. It's very good.
It's Christian Ward's art where it's Captain America and looks like he's fighting Black Bolt. It's pretty cool. So Black Bolt goes to Titania to break the news that Crusher Krill's dead. That doesn't go over real well. Black Bolt gets punched in the mouth really hard. Unfortunately, or fortunately rather, she's overcome with emotion and they stop fighting. So they go out to celebrate his life and toast to him, and then you have a nice little funeral scene where Captain America shows up and along with Odin's son, and they say some nice things at his funeral, which gets crashed by Lash and a bunch of Inhuman rejects who break out a fight at a funeral because they suck.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
It was pretty good. What?
Dude, I gotta take a whiz.
Okay.
I'm at least look at me and acknowledge me.
I did.
No, you didn't. You're looking at your screen.
I was finishing Black Bolt. I saw you going timeout.
Okay. I didn't.
Okay.
Dude, just look at me and nod your head or something.
Okay.
All right. I'll be right back. Your eyes all right? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I mean, I when I was reviewing the last book, it looked like you were, I don't know.
I had something in my eye earlier, but I'm fine.
That's what it was. You were rubbing your eyes. All right, let me get wound up because I am wound up.
You have to get wound up because you're wound up?
Oh no. This is a rant coming.
Oh. It's the one book I didn't read this week, so
that's okay.
Well, actually, I don't think I read that Rise of Black Panther either.
Okay. They both sucked. You didn't miss it. Well, let's go.
Okay. 3,
Count us in.
2, 1.
That brings us to the 616 universe and the Guardians of the Galaxy number 150. In this book, you have everything that is right and everything that's wrong with Marvel Comics all in 33 pages. Okay, it's all here. You got the legacy numbering, you've got Marvel Legacy. And here's my biggest issue. We were just talking about how slow Phoenix Resurrection is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? However, that's a weekly series. If I remember correctly, you're going to get 4 books, 4 weeks in a row. Then they take a week off. Then it's Phoenix Resurrection number 5. Then it's the Jean Grey book number 11. And then it's X-Men Red. Just boom, 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 boom. There they are, right in a row. Okay. Why? Because they planned it out and they knew what they were doing. And the X-Men have a very good editorial staff these days. So it all rolled together. It's synchronized with all the other books. Everybody lives happily ever after, right? It's not hard. No. Okay. That brings us to Secret Empire. So we have the fiasco that was Secret Empire last year. And what did Marvel say? They came out and said, absolutely no more major events, no more crossovers for at least 2 years. And that lasted, I don't think it lasted 2 weeks. It certainly didn't last 2 months before they remembered, oh yeah, we got this big Infinity movie coming out, and maybe we need to do something with the Infinity Gems. So they rushed production on the Infinity books. Now, we're going to get, at the end of this, they introduced Infinity Countdown #1. That's 6 months ago. Today, at the comic book store, in my, I have Infinity, not the Infinity, whatever they're calling the Infinity War comic book series they're going to do. They count down to Infinity #5. So it's taking them 6 months to get out 5 issues. They're doing it here in Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're not even to the main series yet. Dude, it's horrible. It's just bad, man. It's just, it's bad planning, bad editing, bad everything. So there you go. So this is Guardians of the Galaxy #150, and it opens not with Guardians of the Galaxy. No, because we had a great space battle going on last time between the Novas and Rocket and the Talons of the Shire Empire, I believe. Thank you. No. Let's not start there. Let's start with the rebirth of Adam Warlock again. So Adam wakes up and he's
been reborn.
I don't even know, man. I've lost count. But if you're going to do an Infinity Gauntlet series, hey, you got to have Adam Warlock, okay? Because you got to have the Soul Gem. And if you're going to have the Soul Gem, you got to have Adam Warlock. So, oh, and I'm not done with Ranch yet. So Adam Warlock, you know, he wakes up, he's there in the gym, he bursts away out of the wall and, you know, realizes he's in Soul World, which is where his soul is inside the gym. Okay. Then, you know, finally by page 9, we get around to something good, which are the Novas and the Raptors fighting. You know, the Raptors are being who they are, and the Novas are being led by Rocket Raccoon. They fight. Of course, the Novas win. And one of the ways they win is Scott Lang, and this is actually pretty cool. As I said, this is the good and bad about Marvel all at one time, because it's got good stuff in it, but they're trying to squeeze in the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. So Ant-Man shrinks down to subatomic level. They shoot him out of a cannon, and he goes into the Talon ship and becomes Giant Man and blows it up, which is actually pretty entertaining. Yeah, it's really entertaining, actually. Then, you know, all the Novas get together, and yeah, there they, you know, they all hug and kiss, and they're all happily ever after. Now, somewhere, I think it was in the last issue, Drax accidentally killed someone. So he decides hanging out with the Guardians and trying not to kill people isn't good enough. So he's going to go be a pacifist and leave the Guardians. At this point, Peter Quill says, hey, if you want to do this for me, why don't you, and if you're looking at the book, you know, get to page 24, why don't you guard the reality gem, which isn't a gem anymore in the palm of your hand. It's a pink mountain. And even Drax says, hey, I thought it was purple. Now it's pink now. Okay. All right. Okay. I can roll with that. There you go. There is a couple of pretty funny lines there, which is, you know, is that what Drax says? Is that what I think it is? And then the pregnant Nova Corps lady says, is that who I think it is? So you've got one of the most powerful gems in the world, and you've got it guarded by a pregnant woman. That's yeah, that makes sense. So yes, Drax is going to sit there and happily guard the gem. Then we get to the last of the book where, and I was reading this Infinity Countdown #5. They're on page 28. It's not enough that we have Old Man Logan. It's not enough that next week we're going to get the Old Man Hawkeye book. This is Old Lady Gamora. I wish I were making this up. Okay. This is Old Lady Gamora,
who we have encountered before. But like, if this is going to be a thing where
it's going to be a thing.
Is this the new trend where you just do the old version of all your favorite superheroes?
I guess, man. I don't. Did we see Old Lady Gamora before?
Yeah, she was in. Well, I think she was in that Gamora miniseries that we were doing a few months ago.
What was she doing there?
They encounter one another in Soul World.
Ah, that's right. I do remember reading that somewhere. So anyway, she's
like
here.
One issue as opposed to being like a recurring thing.
Oh no, this is going to be like a recurring thing throughout the event.
Mm-hmm.
So anywho, she, gives Adam Warlock a bunch of dire warnings. He breaks out of the cocoon, which, when he dies, he always goes in the cocoon, and he has to come out of the cocoon. And who is there but Kang the Conqueror?
What?
Next to last page, 32.
No, I mean, why?
I have no idea.
Why Kang the Conqueror?
I don't know.
I mean, I like Kang the Conqueror, but why?
I don't know. And then the next page tells you, oh, wait, we get Infinity Countdown Adam Warlock. We get Infinity Countdown Prime, which is the first issue of the series. And then we get more Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, just what I wanted. An event with a bunch of tie-in issues.
Which is what they said they weren't going to do anymore.
I wonder if all the superheroes are going to fight one another instead of the villains.
Yeah. I think what I did read today that was funny, and everyone will have forgotten that by 6 months from now.
Yeah.
This Infinity Countdown book today, turns out a guy who used to be Stiltman has the mind gem.
That's stupid.
Yes. As I said, this whole series is the best and worst of Marvel all rolled into one, because there are good things in this book, which if you had kept it on track could have been good. If you wanted to do an Infinity War series, you could have done it in a few issues and done it right. Instead, we're dragging this on. Dude, it's 6 months and we're not even to the main event yet. The main event hasn't even started. Consider this countdown to Secret Empire, and you're not even to Secret Empire number 0 yet.
Oh my God. Whatever.
I wish I were making this up, man. I am not.
Hopefully Captain America can save us.
Yes. In Captain America number 697.
Yes. Love this book. Absolutely love it. Love the story. Love the art. I love everything about it. I even love the little blurbs in the back about what Captain America means to all these different creators. It's great. Captain America gets captured and gets put into a most dangerous game type scenario with Kraven the Hunter. So Kraven gives him a head start, and he's hunting Captain America. Captain America runs into another dude that Kraven captured, just a general civilian out in the wilderness. Has to save him a couple times from, a leopard, and they have to a snake, and they have to cross some treacherous terrain and so forth. When at some point Captain America realizes that the guy who's this civilian isn't really who he says he is, and he's the trap all along, and he was meant to lull Captain America into this sense of security, and then dude was going to blow his brains out, which Kraven finds to be fascinating because, it's like, oh, hey, you figured it out. Good for you. They duke it out, end up in the ocean. It turns out all of this was a big ruse by Hydra to capture Captain America, which they did. They actually freeze him in a block of ice water, a block of ice, and fish him out of the ocean, and now he has been captured by Hydra.
I didn't read that, and I'm hoping it's better than it sounds.
Did that not sound great?
You said the words Captain America and Hydra together, so my brain instantly had PTSD syndrome, and I just melted down.
Oh no, it's not a Secret Empire type thing. It's Captain America versus Hydra. Like they're trying to capture Steve Rogers, because I forget what book it was, but a couple weeks ago we saw that they have liberated evil Steve Rogers. I think it was Deadpool.
Yes,
they've liberated evil Steve Rogers and are going to make him their leader or something again.
But see, and I'm a fan of this book also. Mark Bagley is writing it, I believe.
Mm-hmm. No, it's Mark Waid.
Mark Waid, excuse me. I'm a fan of the book. I'm just like, I would never, after Secret Empire, I wouldn't put Captain America and Hydra together for the next 10 years. I would put a lot of characters together, but for those two. That brings us to Iron Fist number 76. This is another book that was good in issue 1, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it now. This was a really good issue, man. So last issue, Cho Shin, who Danny encountered there in the city of Li Shu, Danny fought them all, beat them. That was the first story arc. That was the first graphic novel. But Cho Shin got the Book of the Iron Fist and managed to teleport himself to Kunlun. And once they get there, there's all kinds of, basically all the people from Lo Shi are there waiting for him. And Cho Shin wants to just take over Kunlun. The defender of Kunlun, who I always thought was Iron Fist, apparently is some lady named Sparrow, who's blind. And she and Cho Shin start throwing down. And this is really good because you've got Danny trying to do that. Sabretooth, I wanted to say Wolverine. Sabretooth, excuse me. I mean, I'm looking at a picture of him and I'm thinking Wolverine. I don't know why. Is fighting, he's fighting the Rats of the Thousand Plagues and a couple other people. And dude, it's really good. Lots of actions in this book. If there's a book that you ever think doesn't have enough action, go read this series because it's got enough action in it for everything. And Sparrow at the end of the book tells Danny she's got to fight. He needs to go fix the mess he's made in the series or in the city. That's almost a quote. And so what Danny does is decides he needs reinforcements, takes the book and goes somewhere. He's nobody sure where. Cho Shin accuses him of retreating, and he and Sparrow are throwing down there at the end. Really good series.
Alrighty.
It's one of those things where it's good now, but in a few months when you can go back and read 1 through 12 together, it'll really be good.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we talk about that sometimes, how, an individual series is good, but when you go back and reread something 1 through whatever, it reads better as a whole than it does issue to issue.
Yeah. A prime example of that is when the Ultimates were coming out, the first Ultimate series back around 2000. I forget when it was, but they were coming, not only were they not coming out once a month, but they were shipping late. So you're getting one every 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So by the time I got issue 12 or 13 or whatever the last issue was, you're like, I don't even remember issue 1, and you had to sit down and read them all again and try and remember it. And now we, here in Marvel Unlimited, one of the beautiful things that we love about the Marvel app is you're able to just sit down and read these things in continuity. Just sit down and read all 6 books or 12 issues or whatever at one time.
Yep. That's my favorite thing about it.
Yeah.
Hawkeye number 14. Clint shows up. He's going to help find Kate. I couldn't think of her name. Runs into her friends. There's the recurring joke about the frozen bag of peas. Meanwhile, Kate's been captured by this lady with blue hair whose name I can't remember, or who she is, or what her motivation is. It was the blue-haired lady from the book at the end of Secret Empire, where she gets zapped back in time and has to encounter young Clint. Yeah. She's got some vendetta against the Hawkeye people. Anyway, her bargain is, hey, Kate Bishop, if you kill Clint Barton, I'll reunite. I can use time travel to reunite you with your dead mother. Meanwhile, Clint attempts to save her, coming up with a plan. His plan is to take the cloned Madame Mask version of Kate Bishop and swap the actual Kate for her and hope that works. It backfires horrendously. And now Kate Bishop and Clint have to fight the blue-haired lady and Madame Mask in Kate Bishop's body. Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have.
When did we decide that Clint Barton was an inept moron?
It depends on who's writing him.
Okay, because apparently that's a trope that we do now. And it has been done for a few years, but I don't remember that having ever been the case.
If you read when Nick Spencer's writing him in Secret Empire and he's leading the rebellion, he's not. If you read Old Man Hawkeye that comes out next week, he's not. If you see him in some of the Avengers books, he's not. But whenever he gets solo, he is. So I don't know, man. I don't. I got nothing.
Okay, it's weird.
Yeah, it's one of those things where and this feels like a drum I beat on every week, where Marvel's editors aren't consistent with how characters or events are treated from series to series. You know,
right.
Rogue and Gambit may act one way over here in Astonishing X-Men, then they get over to their own series, Rogue and Gambit #1, they act a different way. And that just, that goes against everything that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby established, and it irritates the crap out of me.
Right. And it's different if particular writers have ways they like to portray certain characters, and that's different. But if in one book, like you said, Rogue and Gambit are all lovey-dovey, and the next one they don't seem to even acknowledge one another, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. By the way, when I was in Jason's last week, the cellar here in Memphis, I saw, every time they launch a book, every month they do the $1 comics on it. Mm-hmm. And Fantastic Four annual #3 was there on sale for $1. And I bought it. And here's the thing about Fantastic Four annual #3. It's the wedding of Reed Richards and Sue Richards. Okay. So, or Sue Storm, as it were. That's what the annual was about. But the Marvel Universe at that point had been spinning for like 3 or 4 years. So Lee and Kirby set about in that annual to put every character who had appeared in any Marvel book in that issue. Dude, it's pretty cool how they managed to squeeze them all in there. They even managed to squeeze themselves in there. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Of course back then that was a much smaller group.
Dude, it's a pretty big group, man.
Yeah, but now you'd have to have, 3 times that many.
Oh, dude, and that's just the 616 universe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, they're all there. It's a really funny and entertaining book. And I forget who I want to say it's Doom that attacks and all the villains unite. And of course, all the heroes have to fight them, and Nick Fury's there, and all the Avengers, the X-Men. I think Tony Stark makes an appearance, and Iron Man makes an appearance. It's all good.
Oh yeah. Back when nobody knew that Tony Stark and Iron Man were the same person.
Yep. Rise of the Black Panther #1. I'm really not familiar with this. I may go first off, the cover is magnificent. Mm-hmm. I really like the art in it. It begins with T'Chaka. Is that how you pronounce T'Challa's father's name? T'Chaka. And Captain America back in World War II. And apparently Captain America's the first white guy to ever find Wakanda, and they don't, want him there. Instead, T'Chaka, turns out they have a common enemy, and he gives them a piece of vibranium, which becomes his shield. Then he meets his wife, and she gets pregnant. They have a kid that is T'Challa, and I think his mom dies during childbirth. And then Ulysses Claw attacks and kills his dad while T'Challa's still a little kid, and there you go. It's, it's okay.
All right. I thought this was going to be a origin story for Black Panther, but okay.
Dude, I did too, but the whole thing is, and I guess they're spending the first issue establishing his dad in Wakanda and all that sort of thing. I really don't know, man.
Okay, maybe so. But I mean, my understanding was this is a straightening out of his origins.
That's okay, and it seems to be. It's just I don't think we needed to spend a whole issue on T'Chaka.
Okay. What were we gonna say?
Oh, nothing. I was gonna say the art's really good, and it's not a bad book. It's just it's like okay, and we'll go back to the very top of the podcast. We have all this reading to do, so when you sit down and read a bad book, you're like, really? I just spent 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes reading a bad book. Seriously? or something that didn't live up to expectations. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
In the Star Wars universe this week, we have Star Wars number 41, inching closer to number 50. Still on the ruins of Jeddah. Luke is training with these weird Force users who occupy the planet now. The guy that came with him, they're dwelling by the where the Death Star blew up the planet, the big crater, and apparently it's emanating a ton of dark side energy, and it makes the dude that Luke went with turn crazy and try to kill Luke, and Luke kills him with his lightsaber, and that's when the priests say, "Yeah, you passed the test. You were able to hold on to yourself while not succumbing to the dark side." Meanwhile, Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Chewbacca, along with some of the other rebels, are attempting to further impede the Empire's mining operations on the planet. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't read it, but I plan to.
Yeah, yep. It was all right. It was, it's been all right.
What's your favorite book of the week?
Probably Captain America.
I understand. Let me throw a disclaimer out here. On any given week, I could say X-Men Gold or Phoenix Resurrection are my favorite books.
Yeah, that X-Men Gold was pretty good.
Maybe not Phoenix Resurrection this week, but even then the art was good. It's going somewhere. Dude, that X-Men Gold book is just really good. As I said, this is the worst and best of Marvel all-in-one, so I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy 150. Jerry Dugan's doing a very good job writing it. Aaron Cooter and Marcus Tu are doing the art. Ian here is doing the color art. Other than making the stone pink instead of purple, it's a really good looking book. I really enjoyed it. And again, it's if Marvel hadn't gotten off track with the whole Adam Warlock thing, because they had to wedge it in there, it would have been a great book. And it's still my favorite book of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the dump this week, we have Captain America Dead Men Running, which I think is like a mini series.
Yes.
Warlock and the Infinity Watch, Quasar, some more Masters of Kung Fu, and some super old Submariner books.
Okay, first off, how many Masters of Kung Fu books are there?
I don't know, but apparently there's a lot more than I anticipated.
I thought it was only like 20 issues, man. It seems like every week they dump 20 issues.
They've been dumping a lot of them in the last few weeks, but yeah, it's a lot. I didn't realize they made that many.
Yes, I didn't either, but apparently they did. This Warlock and the Infinity Watch is stuff that ran through the three Infinity Gauntlet series of the 90s, Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, whatever the other one was. This Warlock and Infinity Watch book linked them all together. So you've got all the characters that you see, Pip, Gamora, Drax, Warlock, at one point they were all assigned to Jim Guard. Those Submariner books, I've been waiting a long time for some of those books like Submariner, Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1, some of these books to finally get on Unlimited, and it's good to see them putting some there.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like that really old stuff, that's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that'll pretty much wrap us up for the week. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.
And as is our tradition, Pat, do you have any wisdom to share before we go?
My brain is like the Bermuda Triangle. Information goes inside, gets lost, and is never found again.
Dude, me and you both, man.
That is so true.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I do not have another podcast in me, man.
Okay, that's fine. You can do it Sunday afternoon. Just 20 minutes, knock it out.
Yeah, we may be able to do both of them Sunday afternoon.
Okay, that's a possibility too.
I don't know why not. Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
We can do that. I can go to the baseball game Monday.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, particularly if you can do it late. I know you've been staying up more on Sundays. I mean, if you can do it at like 3 or 4 o'clock in case Renee wants to go to lunch with somebody at the church, we can definitely do it.
That's fine, because usually what I've been doing is I'll come home, I'll be up till about 10 or 11, take a little nap, and get up around 2 or 3.
Yeah, dude. All right, let's plan on that then. Let's plan on like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Okay, that works.
Cool. All right, brother. Talk to you soon, man.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.